Some people love sports. Some love music. Some love to climb mountains. I love something very simple. I love to talk. I can't think of what life would be if I cannot talk. I remember when somebody asked me one time, what is death to me? Death to me is you talking to me, I hear you, I'm talking to me, I'm not getting through. Here's the irony of life. I wake up every morning not being able to talk. I try. The words that I utter doesn't even make sense to me. But I don't give up. I start with A, B, C, D, and go on and on. I've fallen in love with the alphabets. I realize as I get into P, Q, the rolling of R, it gets more and more difficult. O is tough. And then a nurse of mine gave me this magical word, extraordinary. In the mornings, it's a very difficult word to say. Extraordinary. I've been saying it since 2008, only to realize recently that I wake up every morning saying extraordinary. Every morning. How lucky am I? How blessed am I to have a life that is extraordinary? I want to talk. I love to talk. Sudhir Verma came into my life as a next door neighbor. Odds in Denver, Colorado, for me to buy a house where the next door neighbor is in Desi is very low. You want to go and meet the governor of the state of Colorado because of some business reasons, you're only there for a day, ho jayega. He will take you. Let's say you get a business out of it and you offer to pay him 10%, 20%, he will laugh at you in a way that you will feel love and feel stupid at the same time. I even hired him to work with me. We had a deal, I'll pay him $10,000 a month and then I'll give him commission. 3 months in, my accountant calls me and says, Arjun, Sudhir is not cashing your checks. So he's next door. I go there, Malik, kya ho raha hai? Malik said, no, come here, sit. If I cash the checks, the banks take the check. I keep them here. I look every day at these checks that my cute baby brother gives me money. The checks had more utility to him uncashed than $30,000 in the bank. That's my Sudhirji. Sudhirji passed away untimely. My heart is crushed. The day Sudhirji passed away, the funeral was planned with 200 people coming to this memorial. We realized something's wrong. We took over the entire funeral home. Next day, I realized I don't have the heart to go inside. I was outside, navigating traffic and just at the gate. Nearly 1,500 people came to say goodbye to Sudhirji. As I was standing outside, nearly every person who would walk out will look at me by saying, aren't you Arjun? Sudhir's baby brother, who he came to years to find. They would talk about my life, my business. Sudhir was doing his job, promoting Arjun to every person, but not as a business, but as his baby brother with love. That day I learned the wealth of life is the circle of people. 1,500 people for a person who just connected people. And that's what I really felt is the power of life. First day I was in the United States of America at Brigham Young University. I went there with an amazing scholarship. The Utah University needed $8,000 to live and study. Brigham Young University gave me $18,500. So with a lot of pride, I go to Utah. Day one, Professor Duke, the director of the MBA program, meets me by saying, Arjun, I was trying to find you. Here's an additional scholarship of $1,850. I add both, my net worth went over $20,000, like I'll be the richest kid in campus. That happiness lasted till 4 p.m. that evening. Brother Hayes is explaining to me by saying, Arjun, 6 months back, we had this health challenge. 7 people fell sick. We got a lot of temps in. The temps made a lot of mistakes, a few small mistakes and one big mistake. In yours, we put an extra 0. And then he explained it to me as if I didn't get it, and I got it. I only got 1850. That became 18,500. I got it. So now I'm getting into what does it mean. He looked at me and very casually looking at the papers, no eye contact, says you have to go back. I'm like, no. At that moment, I got the clarity. Think, if I came back, none of you would have believed that Arjun came back because of the 0. My nickname would be 0. You guys will call me Arjun Sen, 0, how are you? Like, I saw that. So I told myself, all I need to do is hang in there. I hung in there. I had $340. I needed a place to stay. And I found the only other Indian student called Mac. I would also realize I'm not alone. I had a cousin of mine called Bubuldi in Florida. I would make collect calls to her. It used to take $5 a minute. She wasn't that rich, but she took every call of mine. I would call my Maiji in India. Maiji told me very easily, Arjun, I can take care of it. I can sell the house and send you the money, but I won't. She said, God doesn't put you in a situation unless God has a solution. And that's what we did. As this is going on, I have a dream that one day, if I get money, that vending machine that is there, all my MBA students go there, they put money, bindas yaar, and they get bottled water out of it, okay? Like one day I felt Arjun Sen will have enough money to go to a vending machine to get a bottled water. My class routine was, at the end of the class, I would go back to Brother Hayes and we would negotiate, and he would put counter offers. You sign a release, I buy you your ticket. Finally, it was October 18th. Winter started coming in. I don't have a jacket. With snow, I'm slipping and falling, and I realized that I cannot survive for too long. So I did the drastic step. I went to the president of the university's office, wanted an appointment, and the assistant was very kind, and she said, yes. He listens to my whole story. And he said, I don't need to verify anything. I'm like, wow. And he said, Arjun, I got it. Tomorrow morning, I'll get you 2 checks for 18,500. Next day, when I go there, there was a jacket for me. There was a huge basket of fruits and 2 checks. I go, deposit the money, get $100 out, and then I go to the vending machine, I get water. Thank you. The whole thing happened because I had my Bubuldi, I had my Maiji, I had my friends, but also I did not give up. By the time I am in US, confidence had become into attitude, which had become into arrogance. If you have seen the movie, at the beginning, Shujit puts the little bit of that attitude and arrogance Arjun had. I didn't like it, but that was the truth. And with attitude and arrogance comes a feeling that I will never fall. I felt at those days, people were dispensable, profits were higher, my bonus was more important than anything else. And as a team, we were doing some breakthrough work. I was told if you do a cheese pull, you get 2 to 3% sales increase, job is safe. But my team, we asked the question, are every cheese pull the same? We did videos of 50 or 52 different cheese pulls, men, women, boys, kids, everything, to learn all cheese pulls are not the same. If a kiddo does it, you don't take it seriously. If you have an attractive male or female model do it, you don't see the cheese pull. We found a man with darker complexions, 10 to 15 pounds overweight, no glasses, no facial hair, big eyes. When he does that, 4.5 times success. So what we found out was same TV dollars, same creative cost. Instead of 2%, we got 14% sales increase. And corporate world, once you have success that big, I thought I could walk on water. I was in a corporate meeting, I'm presenting. All of a sudden I realized people in the meeting were paying bizarre amount of attention to me. They were like literally glued to me. Everybody in the room had gone quiet. I was having the best presentation ever. Denise, my assistant, tried to get me out of the room. She finally grabs me by my jacket, pulls me out, and that's the time I realized I was spitting blood all over the table, on my shirt. But the smile on my face right now is because at that point I felt that is what it takes to get everybody's attention. A little blood, corporate world. Fast forward, I'm in the hospital, and my life changed at one instant, the moment I sat in a wheelchair. I wanted to control everything in life and destiny. At corporate world, I want a report, we get the report. Now, all of a sudden, I sat for the first time on a wheelchair. Life's controls were turned off. Even when I went to the restroom, I did not have a choice to keep the door closed. The nurse decided whether the door was open or closed. I would ask my doctors what's going on. Nobody even bothered to acknowledge me. And they would smile at me as if I don't even exist. Nobody was in any rush to give me results. The big clock in my hospital room started playing games with my mind. I was sure it took 2 hours, but when I look at the clock, it had only moved 3 minutes. Day and a half later, just before sunset, 3 doctors and 5 nurses walk in. And that's the time my doctor explained to me cancer, laryngeal cancer, colorectal cancer, different cancer. I'm like, I'm not listening. If you and I are getting into a difficult situation and I'm unprepared, all I do is I take a time out. Reaction is dangerous. Reaction is impulsive. Reaction is where I regret. I also realized to create that space between action and reaction, I need a pause. I tried doing exactly the same thing when my doctors literally blocked me from leaving to say, Arjun, you're not understanding the seriousness. If you do not start treatment now, you may not see Christmas this year. I took a piece of paper, I started calculating, I realized if you include Christmas Day, it's 97. If you don't, 96. I told my doctors, please sign, and this says that if I start treatment today, you, Dr. blah, 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 is promising that Arjun will see Christmas this year. They couldn't, of course. So Arjun won, doctors won. The score has tied now. Seeing that I have created an opening and these doctors do not know what hit them, I told my doctors, I'm not paying your darn bills. Good luck collecting from a dead man. Those magic words gave me the opening. I exited. But the moment I exited, I realized I'm leaving something behind. I dashed back to get that white shirt with blood on it because I did not want to forget my reality. I have realized over and over again is denial starts when you forget your reality. Even though cancer was in my mind, I really was very proud of that one line. I'm not paying your darn bills. Like think Clint Eastwood saying it, not Arjun, it'll be so cool. I go home. I put myself in total darkness. But deep in my mind, I believed that when everything is dark, all you have to do is find a tiny bit of hope. Like somewhere you need to find hope. I told myself, if I hang in there, I really believe something good could happen. That was a Friday. Saturday, Sunday, total darkness. Sunday evening, my 3-year-old daughter walks in. She comes in and says, Baba, eto andhokar keno? Why is it so dark? Can we go outside? And she asked me 3 questions. What is death? Are you dying? But most important question, if you die, who will dance at my wedding? And the light bulb went on by saying, holy crap, what am I worried about? I'm worried about my life's ending. My life ends, it's over for me. Game over. But for her, it's life starting. She is worried about at the age of 3. And to the point where I even asked her, are you planning to get married anytime soon? I still remember the rolling of eyes of the 3-year-old. I can't believe Daddy went there. But when Raka left that day, I found hope. I found the reason I need to make best effort. And that's the part where I realized that I was asking the wrong question. I was asking myself, Arjun, can you get yourself cancer-free? Arjun can't. So instead, on a whiteboard, I wrote the questions. Question number 1, is there a hospital somewhere where there's a doctor who has a better treatment plan? Yes, there is, I believe. And then I asked myself, Arjun, can you make best effort to find that place? Yes, I can. And those 2 questions changed my life. My house became a medical record distribution center. On the big whiteboard, they would put all hospital names, package ready, sent. Sudeep's lucky, tomorrow morning I will call. They are arguing who will make the call. And I would just pause from time to time, looking by saying, wow, this entire team had a belief with zero doubt. Seeing that energy, just like I talked to you about the unquitted energy in the room, the whole house, which was dark before, felt amazing. Like I would wait from 4 o'clock, come back from work to start cooking food because my friends will come. And we would report back on what happened. And finally, the phone rang, call from New York. We felt it was good. Next morning, Sudeep takes me to the airport. And from Denver, when the plane started leaving the gate, I felt good. Nothing has changed though. But I felt that little separation from the crisis changed me, defined me. Later on, when I adventured into the world of marathon, all I had to take was one step. I take one step, now it is no longer no marathon Arjun, now it is marathoner Arjun. By now, I have figured out the whole formula is the heart, purpose, people in my life, the unquit circle, and do something about it. But even with all that, when I got to New York, I was not in belief. Belief to me is 100%. Belief to me is you have to move in, like literally you can jump knowing that the trapeze will throw you up. Like that's belief. I didn't have it. And I got belief from my amazing nurse, Nancy. Nancy was the most amazing nurse. I really feel she got into nursing as a profession just for me. And I believe lots and lots of other patients feel exactly the same way. First time Nancy meets me, she said, Arjun, give me a hug. I'm not a hugger. But Nancy had the personality. If Nancy wants a hug, she gets that hug. Nancy one day takes me on a wheelchair to a balcony just before sunset to look at the beautiful New York sunset and asked me this question which went way above my head. Arjun, here's a very important question to you. When we give you your life back, what will you do? Arjun, you have to see the future Arjun very clearly, because if you don't see that future Arjun clearly, you can't go there. A Uber cannot take you somewhere unless the driver knows where you're going. So under Nancy's pressure, I tell Nancy, number one, I'll write a book. Second thing, I tell Nancy, I'll work for some philanthropy. Nancy's like, what else? I don't know where it came from. I said, I will run a race. Nancy said, how far? I said, 5 kilometers. Nancy started laughing as if that's the most funny thing I've ever said. Your life is only worth 5 kilometers? You know, I felt like in front of a teacher in a quiz, you really gave the wrong answer, so I upgraded that to maximum I could take it was half a marathon. Okay. You know, what I didn't understand was that one moment changed my life. Earlier, when I would walk to you, you and your friend would look at my reports. What I would see that you guys are talking and whispering is, dead man Arjun. How is he still alive? And it's really tough for me to see that. Now what happens is, Nancy walks in and says, let me introduce Arjun. Future cancer winner, future author, future philanthropist, and most importantly, future half marathoner. Okay? All these three people will take the eye contact from the report to look up to Arjun. Like Arjun's presence was felt for the first time in the room. And then they would start asking me questions, not about my medical records. So what kind of a race, what kind of a book would you write? And now you're in my world. I love glorified BS. The moment you ask me what kind of a book, I would give you the answer at the right time. The book will come to me. To go from darkness to hope to belief. Belief is zero doubt. You know, for the heart, what I've realized is it's very, very important to start with positivity. And one of the biggest things I have seen in positivity is we are all wired and told you have to be 100% positive. I can't. I realized when I'm filling petrol, gas in a car, that only time it is full is when I fill it. Rest of the time, I could even have 10% petrol if I know where to recharge. So I have told myself I don't ever have to be 100% positive. Little positivity, but more important, the recharge station. My recharging stations are my daughter, my wife, my mom, my amma, my brother. The second to me is people and appreciating people. To me, appreciation makes me stronger. If adversity is sitting right there, looking at me, I said, adversity, pause for a second. Let me introduce all my people to you by appreciating them. Then I look at adversity by saying, really? Do you know who you're messing with? Now it's Nancy. On my toughest day in life, when I felt everything was over, I gave up. She called me 8 times. She would have called 100 times if she had to. And finally, when she talked, I told her, Nancy, it's over. Nancy says, I know. She says, Arjun, this is what I will tell you is today you're facing the headwind where you cannot move forward anymore. You can't. But here's something you would love to know. Your mind is wired to appreciate this. If you can just pause for a second, Arjun, and take a U-turn, that headwind becomes your tailwind and nobody can stop you. That was so simple, so powerful. Think, anytime you have a challenge, all you need is a U-turn. Every individual, from Raka to every person, matters. A professor in Brigham Young University who would not stop for 2 semesters kept telling me, Arjun, you're good in marketing. The only reason I moved to marketing is that professor from Finland would not give up on me. A boss at Papa John's who gave me my first big break, made me head of marketing and operations at Papa John's. I didn't see myself, but Blaine told me, yes, you can. I'm like, wow. If you think I can, I guess I can. But there are things I want to appreciate. Like this glass of water. In 2008, when I had the big jaw surgery and I could not drink water for 22 days, I realized the power of this water. I would see any one of you drink water, I would say, wow, you can drink water. I wish I could drink water. I wish one day I can drink water and that water will have a piece of lime, orange, and maybe a cucumber. And I will hold it, I will toast it to life, and I will drink it. But that day, I could not drink the water. My lips were not ready and I drooled all over. But I was so proud of myself. Arjun can drool water. I'm grateful I can talk to you today. I don't take it for granted. Before every surgery, my number one worry was, what is the probability of me not being able to talk? And the numbers have gone up. My first report card in Montessori, my grandma came back on the street walking with me, smacking me over and over again. It says chatterbox. When Shujit asked me during the movie preparation, Arjunda, what is death to you? I said, very simple. You guys talking to me, I can hear. I'm talking to you, no audio. That's death. What else are we taking for granted? What else do I have before it's taken away from me? Who else is there in my life that I'm not appreciating that I will lose? If you just pause for a second what you have and the people you have and the things you can do, you'll realize how rich you are. And that's the part where appreciation, the heart, everything else fills. The guarantee of life is I will fall, you will fall. I can't do anything about it. But what I've realized is I will be the world's fastest person getting out of a fall. I want to make that a superpower of mine. I was in Bombay, it was raining, and what I did not realize was the roads here, especially the bricks, are very, very slippery. They gave me this wooden umbrella, which was supposed to be very cool. As they are getting out of the car, I fell, broke the umbrella. By the time my brother and family watched, I had got up, I had the broken handle. My brother and family said, how did you break the handle? I was so proud that they did not see me fall, I got up. Only then Agni noticed my pant was wet, everything else, that uncle fell. But I was so proud. I really want to be the world's record holder, fastest get-upper, because that's what we really need to say. Our status is not at the bottom of a fall. Our state is up. And how do we get up actually matters. The moment you fall, if you feel that's not my natural self, that's an opportunity to jump up. And that's the part Nancy had taught me, is you have to see yourself succeed. And this getting up right away taught me the whole secret of Unquit. Remember, when we were kids, somebody used to give us this gift on our birthday, this balloon. The moment you punch it, it came back. So cool. I realized that was resilience. Resilience is that balloon falls, comes back. But so many people are talking about only resilience. Resilience only encourages people to punch that balloon. Do we hug the balloon? No. Do we embrace the balloon? No. So I really think what you need to add to that is persistence. That balloon comes up, then take a step forward. So that became the whole thing. If the mind locks into the future, Arjun, cleans the feelings, falls, but gets up. Fear is this game that we play in our mind. It does not exist. Fear literally tells you don't go there. Fear is like a premonition. I realize that we let fear stay in our mind rent-free. Fear is like that older brother and sister of mine. It's like, Arjun, don't go there, because it's protective of me. I don't want anything bad to happen. I want to dare fear. I want to use fear to push harder. And that's the part where I felt that this thing that people talk about, fearless, is BS. To the point where presence of fear is so important. I want a world of fear-free. Fear-free means the commitment, certainty. Think, if I want to take a step forward, even though there's nothing here, I will take the step with conviction. I will fall, but no, my superpower is I will get up. Taking the step, even when it's not taking us anywhere, with conviction is very important. My handyman, Johnny, in real life, his name is Ventura Rodriguez. Ventura Rodriguez is this most amazing, cool handyman who comes and tries to fix everything, but he screws up everything. He may be the only person ever on this planet who put up a fan which fell. But Ventura had this magic in his life. Every evening, he had an amazing social life, parties till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but after that, he came over to my place. He had the garage code, he would come in, leftover food. I don't drink beer, but I had to keep beer for him chilled, otherwise he got mad, and you don't get Ventura wrong. And then he would come next to my bed, literally sit this close to me. And the moment I open my eyes and Ventura looks at me, Ventura would say, Mr. Arjun, you're not dead. With his broken English, I finally paraphrased and learned what Ventura meant was, Mr. Arjun, I'm so glad you're alive. Where did this man come from in my life? And with Ventura, this part I have to share. In US, you need that one person who will get you out of the hospital, very important. So I told him, Ventura, this is what you will do. I will give you a jacket, I will give you a pant, I will give you a shirt. He said, shoes, I said, no. Nobody looks at the shoes. Okay. Your job is no eye contact with the nurse. Say, yes, 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 sign. Get Arjun the paper out of the hospital in the car, and then we will talk. One time, Ventura gets me out by saying, Mr. Arjun, how do I look? I said, good, but let's look at the papers. He said, no, Mr. Arjun, listen to me. Wearing your jacket, the pant, and the shirt has changed my life. My dating profile has changed. Earlier, I had to push hard for dates, but now women are taking me to wine bars. And then he dropped this thing that freaked me out, that I have created a monster. He said, Mr. Arjun, I have seen you talk on conference calls, and based on that, in my dates, at the beginning of the date, I say, satisfaction guaranteed. I did not want to know what this guy meant, but I created a monster. Ventura taught me, in love, in relationship, in friendships, you don't think, you say what comes in your heart, and that's Ventura Rodriguez. Ventura taught me that you are not dead, which means you're alive. What I've also realized, Ventura's wisdom is when you're alive, you have to live. Sometimes we worry about challenges and we stop living. Even with my wife, Chitra, we live in a fear-free state. Knowing that we will be there with each other, we can literally get into an argument. And after some time, Chitra, 4:30, adrak wali chai. It's like taking a time out. Like, arguments can pause. Chai is more important, yaar. We take the chai and they, Chitra, let's finish the argument. What argument we forgot? I was working with one of the top golfers of all times. He's going through a PR crisis. Arjun before would have been cautious. Now I don't care. I'm thinking just like he's any other challenged person, I'm just giving him funda like you don't plan your way out of a crisis. In a crisis, the only thing you do is talk your way out, because the moment you talk, you react. Like, I can tell that to any person on the planet. I was in a meeting with one of the top pharmacies. Again, it's the Unquit Arjun, fear-free. In a meeting where I'm not supposed to talk, I didn't talk for 56 minutes. That was a world record for me. But then I saw an opportunity that these guys were missing. They were thinking micro. I connected the dots for them to see that they could be at the end of connecting to health and happiness, and they got a new tagline, billions of dollars. I did a poor job of negotiating the contract. But fear-free is the state when you get to, it happens in every part. That was a very tough day. I've just come back from New York. Radiation, chemo, started losing hair. Even though I never, even today, I have a brush. I just hand comb my hair. But somehow it was bothering the heck out of me that my hair, without my permission, was falling off. Control issue. I had a cap on. I have not seen my daughter for weeks. So she had come in late last night. She was sleeping. 5:30 or 6 in the morning, she comes over to my bed, jumps in, wakes me up literally with my eyes, pulling my eyes like this. She had every possible thing she wanted to do. Baba, I missed you. Baba, can we go to the zoo? The monkeys missed her. Blah, 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 blah. Goes on. I again realized that's my daughter, because if somebody can talk more than me, that's my baby. Okay? And finally she says, Baba, can you get up? I missed that Baba shake. Baba shake is a hot chocolate. But the hot chocolate is made the way you do filter coffee, like ch. But the last part of the Baba shake is the most important part. I would get the whole thing done, then I start putting the whipped cream, not looking here. Because in Dad's house, pills are totally okay. I would keep looking at you, and Raka's face would say, Baba, Baba, come on, more. Like that was the excitement of Baba shake. She would just grab this thing, and she went at Baba shake. There would be a whipped cream mustache. Even after 28 years, I still remember that. Think. That day was a very tough day. But we have the power to tell adversity, hey, sit outside. Father-daughter moment. We have the power. That night, another magic happened. Nancy had taught me that, Arjun, you have no problems with losing hair. You have a problem with control. She says, fight control with more control. She had given me, before I left New York, a buzzer. So that day I got my friends Sudeep, Trey Hall, all of them together, explained. Then I played for them my favorite Hindi song from the movie Zamir. And as the song would play, everybody would buzz my hair. Amazing moment we created together. Marathon. Night before the marathon, my daughter, 15 years old, and myself, we came up with this amazingly wise decision. She came and told me a week before by saying, Baba, nobody eats half a rasgulla. I knew exactly where this was going. Nobody eats half a pizza, half a cookie. I'm like, okay, go on. She said, Baba, let's do the full marathon. I'm like, means I'm going to run, dude. She's like, Baba, you're not getting it. If you can come to mile 22.4, I will get you across the finish line. Her excitement and enthusiasm was so strong, I could not say no. Now the challenge is, those of you here who run regularly, you take 2,000 steps to cross a mile. I'm decently slow, which means I take 2,500 steps. And if you multiply 2,500 times 26.2 miles, a beautiful, simple number comes in, 65,500. The moment I told myself, Arjun, you have to take tomorrow 65,500 steps, there was this big billboard came in, namumkin, impossible, don't even try, go back to bed. So I changed the goal for myself. I asked myself a very simple question. Arjun, tomorrow, can you promise to unquit and take one step? Tomorrow, there'll be 99 reasons not to take that step. But once you feel any of those reasons, lock into that one reason. That reason will make you smile. My daughter is waiting at mile 22.4. That's it. Committing to one is the easiest thing, and the journey to 65,500 Happens one step at a time. The marathon, I'm at mile 18 of the marathon. 18 is already, the body is beyond. It cannot take any more. My body is giving up. That's the time a black cop pulls me over. She comes in with a lot of authority to tell me, Arjun, the race is over. Please, sir, move to the side. Ma'am, for 4,772 days since I was diagnosed with cancer, every day I thought about this race, and I only saw the race end in two ways. Finish the race, or I'm in an ambulance. Nothing else. She said, are you that stubborn? I realized that's not a question you answer. Let's see where it goes. And before I could answer, she said, I'll bring the car in front. You run behind. If you feel anything uncomfortable, bang the car, and I will stop and get help. This cop now starts calling the race organizers, who started telling people who have finished the race. Those people start coming in. Very soon, I had 20 people around me. Stopped Arjun. Now, all of a sudden, is living the life he never dreamt of. I have a police escort. I have 20 people screaming at me, Arjun, let's do it. Let's go, Arjun. I normally run 15-minute miles. The next 4 miles, I did 10.5-minute miles. How did it happen? No clue. I get to mile 22.4. Who is waiting at 22.4? My amazing, cute daughter, tiny, with a backpack. Check my feet for blisters. Let's trash those socks, new socks. Baba, do you want a sandwich? Do you want a Sprite? Do this, blah, blah, blah. Baba, let's go. I'm done. I don't have it in me anymore. I told her, my job was to come to you, girl, I'm done. Then she tells me the magic words. Baba, let me tell you this one thing. You're very strategic. In your entire life, you have never been, nor will you ever be, less than 4 miles from the end of a marathon. Every day, anywhere you are, you will sit and regret not making one more dash. So that's the time I used my superpower to say, help me. She pulls me up, how the powers have shifted. And the next less than 4 miles, she pushed me, dragged me. Baba, after this left turn, Baba, race is over. Finally, as we get close to the finish, I could see the finish. I realized Arjun will finish the marathon. I fell. I was in tears. I'm thanking Nancy and everybody else in my mind. Raka comes and says, Baba, you did it. I'm like, yes, we did it. I said, baby, 6 hours, 12 minutes. This could be the slowest marathoner ever. She's like, Baba, you're not getting it. The winner only ran for 2 hours, 10 minutes. You ran for 3 times. I'm like, wow, cool. I was just getting ready to feel good when she brought me down. That's what a daughter does. Baba, say thank you to all these people. They could have gone home half an hour back, but they waited only for you. She said, Baba, when I came and told them there's one more runner, they all got very excited. They looked at you. That man, his hands are moving, but his feet are not moving. Is he standing at one place? Baba, where are you standing at one place? Like, I was in so much pain that I could not even laugh. But that's what my daughter, who she is. Once you have the heart aligned, the mind aligned, and you have your circle, you go from that state of darkness to hope. Hope is first light. Hope has a lot of doubt. Hope is still, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but hope means, ho sakta hai, maybe. As you start going, you get to belief. Belief is where doubt is gone. Belief is where we get stupidly strong. And that's the part I felt the word that we don't use is fear-free. That is fear-free state. Knowing I have so many people, I really now believe you put me in any situation. It could be somebody I know or a stranger will come and be there for me. I need to hang in there long enough. Think, where did that black cop and those 20 people come from? Nowhere. Did they wake up that morning thinking they will help Arjun? No. Do they even know today that because they helped me finish the marathon, that has fueled the rest of my life? That is fear-free. I did it. I finished the marathon. And let's be honest, it was we. It was the people in my life It was Raka. It was my nurse Nancy. It was all my medical team. It was strangers who just showed up like the black cop. These are people who did not quit on me. But there's one more person who deserves a pat on the back, and that's me. I got myself to the starting lineup. I took the first step. I took every step that put me in the position to take the final step. And that's the way the marathon of life works. One step at a time as you move forward. Every night when I go to sleep, I'm excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to meet one more person. And I will say one more word.
I think this is one that film, the kind of a film where in my repertoire of films, I will just keep it on a top.
I remember we were shooting the scene and he obviously put a heavier shot first and the camera was down below, over my left shoulder. I was standing at the banister and she had this emotional outburst, and I remember at one point in time I just looked down and I looked over my side and he was slumped in the sofa like this and he was just looking at me. That's your life. Mm-hmm. These are things that you experienced and now you're having to go through that upheaval again, and that disturbed me. And I remember after the scene, I don't know if you'll remember, I came and I sat with you and I tried to speak to you, but you were done for the day. That's your life, and these are some very difficult moments to relive.
I just want to ask you that what is the next thing that you want to manipulate to survive?